Same people that are here every Monday, so it works out pretty well. We remembered our names this time. Today we got some mineral specimens. It was exciting. I was telling Rob right before we came up, a lot of new mineral specimens just hit the website, so go to Jadora.com, sort by new on the mineral specimens, and you'll see all kinds of great stuff. I say it all the time. I don't know where you watch from. If you go to jtv.com/extra, it's a great place with shoppability because everything will pop up down at the bottom. You hit the little shop button, and it's going to show you exactly what we have in the show, and you can buy some of this stuff right away because they are all one-onlys.
That's right, yeah. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'll be dropping links periodically when we switch specimens. But what do we have on the table right now?
The first thing that we have is Dioptase, and this is really nice, you know, this gemmy green color, and it's sitting on a nice little cluster of calcite. So as you look at this piece, you know, Dioptase is a really nice, it's that emerald, that bluish green color of the green, and it's a copper cyclosilicate. So I'm not a smart man. I don't really know what all those words mean.
For the definitions.
Yeah, so when it comes to copper silicates, the two most common ones that you'll see are chrysocolla and Dioptase. Now, this, like I said, is known for that really rich green color. In the 18th century in Kazakhstan, a bunch of miners thought they came across the emerald deposit of their dreams.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame them for that.
No,
just looking at it, and it does. The color is amazing. Yes. I know that it's not emerald, but it doesn't really matter. You know, if you're mining, you're like, whoa, I just found something.
Yeah, and we're lucky enough that we've seen so much of it that right when you see this, typically, Rob looked over and said, oh, wow, and then said that's Dioptase.
Is that a Dioptase? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty common that once you see something like this, you do know that you're looking at a Dioptase. It's pretty easy to see that that's what it is. But at the same time, I could definitely understand how someone would get confused and think that they're not looking at Dioptase.
Well, especially if you want to find emerald and you dig that up, you're going to think it's emerald. You know, if you're going looking for emerald.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you maybe haven't heard of Dioptase. That color is pretty diagnostic of Dioptase, in my opinion. It's like that bluish green that borders on is that a natural color? You know, you see it you're for real though? But yeah, it is. Dioptase always kind of makes me double take. I'm like, nah, that can't be its real color, but it is.
Yeah, and then on top of that, the other thing that really lets you know that it is Dioptase is the crystals. The crystals really are exactly what you expect to see out of Dioptase. That's six-sided crystal. And with an emerald, it just would not look like that.
No.
Emerald is really going to be more of a barrel shape, which we could actually show something that is in the same family as emerald right after this. Oh, so nice. You could understand, you know, kind of what the shape of the crystal would look like. Now, this is a little bit of a higher price point stone. It's $650. And if you don't know anything about stretch pay, if it were something you were interested in, you could always come in and make payments on this because we're getting towards the holidays. By the time the holiday comes around, you could have this paid off. And this would be a nice little thing to be sitting in your stocking. No one ever wants to think about rocks in their stocking. It used to be a threat, but I wouldn't mind having this in my stocking.
If coal looked like that, I would ask for it in my stocking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that one is $650 available on the website, so you can check that out. Now, I did say that we would have something next that is out of the emerald family, same thing, out of the beryl family. And this is kind of what a good emerald crystal would look like. This is an aquamarine. This is from the Spec-Do-Tai mine in Vietnam. And we actually have quite a bit of Vietnamese aquamarine on the website right now. And that's something that you can just go to Jadora, search aquamarine under mineral specimens, or if you search by new, it's going to pop up all of those specimens.
Is that standing up by itself?
It is standing up by itself. Yeah, the kickstand is not like...
Yeah, it's not even using the kickstand. No. It's just standing up on its own face.
And I absolutely did choose this one for a reason because I really like that secondary crystal that is jutting out of there with the growth.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can even see that it looks like it would be able to sit down flat in there and it just propped up. Now, we have in our internal display, you know, up in the airport display, that one emerald that has the secondary crystal that looks like it's just floating in there.
Yeah.
So I think these are absolutely gorgeous. Now, this one, everything in the show, the most expensive piece is $650, and the least expensive piece is $195. So it's all kind of in that range. This one is $250, again, on stretch pay. And decent size on this one. I'm going to stop the turntable real quick just to hold it up with the ruler so people can see, you know, what kind of size this is roughly. I'm trying to get it lined up. I'm not good on the camera with angles.
It's you know, maybe just stand it back up.
Yeah, it's not.
Maybe get a height rather than a length.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do sometimes. So just under an inch, just over a half inch. But really, really pretty stuff. So on these kind of crystals, you know, with aquamarine, you don't really think Vietnam as an area out of there.
No, that's not my first thought.
The largest crystal that came out of this that we had that just got made sellable came from Pakistan, and it is enormous. So that's probably the most expensive of them as well. It's around $750. So as this comes around, it does look like it has a kickstand, but it doesn't. It's
just hanging out.
Yeah, just hanging out.
Like when you laid it down on its side, it looks like a cartoon, like log.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
With a little limb sticking out.
It does look like log. Everyone loves a log. It rolls downstairs. Yeah. But
that looks great. That's an awesome.
Yeah, this is a really nice piece. And there's a lot of really nice aquamarine specimens that are on the web right now. So it's something that, you know, there's something on there for everybody. There's really good price points for everybody. So you just kind of have to search through it. That's the great thing about all of it is I get to see it before it ever makes it to the web. So I kind of get first glance at all
this
the
stuff.
It. Yeah, I get to fall in love with it first.
He's like the bouncer for the site.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of am the bouncer for the site. Yeah. I like that.
There you go.
No guest list. We don't have any guest lists.
New title incoming.
Yeah. So this was the aquamarine specimen. Really good price on this one. And again, these are all one-onlys. So if it's stuff that you're looking for, go ahead and jump on it because you don't really want to wait. You might miss out. This is the only one that has this kind of secondary crystal growing out of it. So if it is something you're interested in, definitely get it now. You can even see that little channel where I was talking about where it looks like this just kind of fell out of it.
Oh, I see that now, yeah. Oh, that's awesome. This would make a great display piece, even though it's on the smaller side, because it just stands up by itself.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's the good thing is all of these aquamarine specimens come with their own lucite stand.
Nice.
So don't use blue tack, use museum wax or something like that to get it to stand up on. But it's really, they all come with one, and you can display it however you want. So let's see, where do we want to go with next? Let's go with the azure malachite. This is a beautiful piece.
Sounds good to me.
So with these azure malachites, we had a few different ones that had come up. So I had 2 azure malachites, one sold instantly. This one I'm kind of surprised it hasn't sold yet. And then we have one big azurite rose that is really, really, really large. So this one here, like the blue in the azurite is copper.
Wow.
So you're kind of seeing all these little azurite roses all across this top piece of malachite that you see. And the malachite has a really nice velvety texture to it. It looks velvety, and you kind of just want to touch it the whole time.
It's not only does it have 2 different colors, but it's, that velvety look gives it 2 different like textures as well.
Yeah, because
if that makes sense.
The azurite has such a nice luster to it, a really sharp luster. And then with that malachite having that fibrous, velvety texture on the base, it really is like the best of both worlds. You get 2 different things out of it, which azure malachite is pretty common. Sometimes you'll see where someone makes it a composite of the 2, and they'll kind of grind them together and then stabilize it, and then you see it come up. But this really is, you know, you can see how it's one piece and how it grows on top of the other.
Yeah, you don't have to composite them. They form together very commonly, you know?
Yeah, and one way that you can really tell that it is, I'm going to stop it right there because you can see on that edge where that azurite is coming out, it's going below where that break is.
Yeah.
That little fracture. So you can see that that's growing out of the malachite. It's not just sitting on top. It wasn't glued on
Good catch.
or anything like that. It really is coming out of it. And the way it's just dotted all the way across, it really is gorgeous.
It's beautiful. Yeah, and it's a nice size as well. It pops out from across. You know.
And some of these are, you can kind of consider them double-sided because you can tell the malachite doesn't look as attractive on this side, but it still has really, really nice azurites below it. And you can kind of see with this one, if you had it in person, the way the texture is on it, it looks like it was just kind of like lifted out of the ground like that. And that's how you have such a really attractive face-up piece. Now this one is $185. In my opinion, very, very...
it's a good price.
Yeah, very good price on that piece. And azure malachite, in a case like this, a lot of azure malachite that you'll see anymore is a cabochon. They just kind of buff the top of it to blend it a little bit. So to get mineral specimens like this that exist, it's not like they're super rare, but they're just not as common.
Yeah, it's not been worked. You know, it's not been carved. It's not been polished or anything.
Nope.
So I kind of prefer that because, like I said, you get the two textures. Whereas with a carving, you just kind of have that blend of color, which looks nice.
Yeah.
I love the azure malachite spheres that sort of look like planet Earth from space.
Yeah.
But this is just, and it's an awesome mineral specimen. I mean, it's out of the ground, looking like that. You know, untouched.
No alterations done to it. They didn't even polish out the edges where you can see little breaks or anything in them. But it's just kind of what you want. I'm just going to go ahead and stop it right there because it looks so pretty on these.
It does. I know I was talking about like unnatural blue earlier with the dioptase, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, like
that's a ridiculous blue shade. Actually, azurite was used in pigment. Like pigmentation for making paints and stuff for a very long time. Yeah,
a lot of paintings were used using azurite for a long, long time, and thankfully they stopped crushing them up, and we get to really appreciate them. Now it still happens, but not near as much as it used to.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just kind of looking over here. I've got so many good specimens. I don't know which one to do next. I guess we'll jump into some fluorite. Now this is some Chinese fluorite, and this is one that it kind of has the trifecta of things that you'll find with fluorite that is a Chinese specimen. So you have pyrite, fluorite, and quartz on this piece. And this one is $195.
That looks great.
Yeah.
The fluorite kind of has this subtle color that, aside from its shape, obviously, helps it stand out from the quartz. But everything's kind of like a gunmetal sort of gray, steely color.
Well,
I mean, it's blue, you know. But
it is kind of difficult as you look at this. The fluorite almost gets lost in here. They're pretty good cubes. You can see that one as it's standing up, as it turns. But with the quartz going different directions, the pyrite has its strong metallic luster coming back at you that shines so well that it's something that the fluorite is almost just pushed to the back. But this really is.
It's almost quartz with fluorite rather than fluorite with quartz, you know?
Yeah. And to really look at it, I'm going to stop it right there, Shane, as you had that great shot on that fluorite. The quartz, you can even see it has that dusting of pyrite that is on the quartz points.
Yeah.
David, we actually have some carved Chinese turquoise that's going to be coming up soon. It's kind of in the shuffle. So when we get stuff, we have to bring it into the building. We have to give it a SKU. It has to get an image. We price it, and then it filters out to be saleable. So it's kind of in the limbo stage of it's had an image done to it. We haven't priced it. We haven't brought it in yet. So it's probably the next week and a half we can show some Chinese turquoise. But I like fluorite so much, and once you start getting these with these sharp quartz points on it, and I don't know if that's like I'm trying to get the reflection, but you can even see all of the pyrite that is all over this piece. And I like the quartz, how it just grows. It's almost like a nest of quartz that just keeps flowing and intersecting with itself.
Not a nest I would sleep on.
No, probably not. Yeah, just a little bit spiky. But this one, you know, and these are delicate points, but you have some really large points that come out of this piece. And to be sitting on that large piece of pyrite that's on there, this does have a lot of heft to it. But the good thing is like so many specimens, they just kind of tell you how they want to be displayed.
Sure.
So however you just set it down and it rests, that's pretty much how it wants to be displayed. Now there's a couple of different ways you could do it, but Just make sure it goes on a solid base so it doesn't rock too much, because these the quartz points, they'll break off pretty easily.
Handle with care. But that, that goes for all of your specimens,
Yep, that's the most important thing. I had fun putting fragile stickers on everything because I wanted everybody to know that these are going to break fairly easily.
Don't touch.
Yeah, if you handle them too harshly, you're going to have some problems. So it looks like we have 2 specimens left.
Okay.
And we'll let Rob pick, purple or white.
White.
All right, white.
We'll go white. I'm trying to say purple. I'm a big fan of purple.
Okay, so this is Smithsonite on dolomite. So this has a really nice botryoidal, structure to it. And Smithsonite is one that, it's got that botryoidal look to it. This is just one side of it. This is another one that could go either way on how you want to display it.
Yeah, I see that.
The dolomite is that nice gray base. And Smithsonite, I'm sorry, is a zinc carbonate, and it's mistaken a lot of times with hemimorphite. But it's obviously not hemimorphite. And you can kind of see on this side where that mistake might come from. Because hemimorphite, it can be seen in like a whitish color, but usually it has a blue with it, a nice copper blue. And it'll have this kind of pattern that you'll see on it, where it's almost like botryoidal, but almost like a mat of botryoidal that goes over the top of a stone. And I like any of these that grow over or on top of another stone. This almost looks like a fungus. I hate to put it that way, but it almost looks like mold growth.
Yeah, it looks like mothballs or something.
Yeah, it looks like a piece of bread that you're moving and you found it underneath the couch. And
God, I bought that 3 months ago.
Yeah, exactly. I don't believe this is Greek. I believe this is actually American. I think when I was working this up, this might be one from Arkansas, which I will check the nice link that Rob was so nice to put into the chat.
You're welcome.
Yep, this is one that we're really lucky. This comes from Rush Creek District in Marion County, Arkansas. So this has the provenance with it. So it's really good that if you're a collector, if you like American minerals, and who doesn't, this is a good one that you actually have, the area that it came from in Arkansas. And this is a $225 specimen. This is a really nice specimen, and this is one that, it's really priced that way because it does have the provenance and it's in really good shape.
I was going to say I like the other side with more of the Smithsonite, but actually I think now that I've seen it spinning on this side, I like that it's just sort of sparsely dotted.
Yeah. That's
it's
a
a
great
contrast
thing
for me. It's all about contrast, whether it's in textures or colors. Here it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about mineral specimens, is they really are works of art. It's just like a work of art that you'll see in a museum. You can stand in front of it and take it in and be like, why is this so pleasing to my eye?
Yeah.
And everyone has a different opinion on them. It's wonderful. But I'm kind of with you. And the great thing about these specimens is that
looks great too. What am I
you
saying?
can constantly change it back and forth. You don't have to leave it on one display all the time, because you can just walk up and be like, look, today I want to see the other side of it.
Yeah.
Because this actually reminds me of another Arkansas stone, wavelite, which I think wavelite is the state stone of Arkansas, maybe? Actually,
I
it's probably
couldn't tell you what the state stone of
But
Arkansas.
wavelite will look a lot like this, except it's green. And when you partially polish a wavelite, you'll see radial sprays in it, and it almost looks like an alien eye. They're really, really unique. But this is one, I don't know, I really liked this piece as I was working them all up. It was just nice to see these pieces and get stuff out to people, because I know everybody that's in the chat and watches these, they know a lot about mineral specimens, loose gemstones, so it's great to be able to get something out there.
Looking at people, you, Barbara.
That people maybe haven't seen. Okay, so we said purple is the last one.
Purple last.
Good choice. It's one of my favorite places that stones come from. This is an Elmwood fluorite piece. So you've probably heard me talk before about how when you're looking at fluorite or anything that comes from Elmwood, Tennessee, if you have one mineral, really good. 2 minerals, even better. If you have 3 minerals in one piece, you're doing great. So this is calcite, fluorite, and sphalerite. You can see right here.
No way.
You have a nice little calcite that's formed on here, and it is absolutely just perfect and gorgeous on top of this piece. So now that calcite will fluoresce on there. One of the things I really like about this piece is that really nice purple etching on the outside. I'm going to turn on the turntable because I think one of the great things about fluorite in general with how it grows is you really need the light to reflect so you can see all the different growth patterns and how it really does grow. All the stepping that goes into this.
There's this fella, right?
Now this is $120. So one thing to know about like the pricing of fluorite, if it has any kind of like little damage or like little nicks on it, it's going to lower the price considerably.
Sure.
So if these were absolutely perfect pieces, you were going to see that price increase and increase and increase. Mm-hmm. These are great entry-level specimens. So everything about what is on this show, from this piece, a great entry-level piece, all the way up to the Dioptase, which is, you know, an expert collector piece, it really fits everyone's price point. And then you can see there's the bit of sphalerite on the bottom, that nice brown. And it just has something.
It's got a different luster to it entirely. I would almost call it metallic. The way the light's kind of winking across it.
Yeah, and this piece really is just fantastic. And with me being the big fluorite lover and collector that I am, I'm very proud of myself that I let this one go. And I didn't purchase it myself.
I'm considering it. I was just looking at it, and looking on the website, it looks like it fluoresces as well. The fluorite, not only the calcite, but the fluorite.
Yeah. There are actually some really great fluorite specimens online right now, both from Cave and Rock and from Elmwood, two really, you know, well-known locales that neither are open anymore for production of mineral specimens. And I feel like everything that we have on there right now is priced really well for two locales that aren't mining or aren't in operation anymore. So, like I said, great entry-level pieces. They're great for anyone's collection, because to say that you have Cave and Rock or Elmwood fluorite, it's a pretty big bragging.
Yeah, you can't say that as often anymore these days.
No, it's
you know, closed down.
Yep, kind of hard to say that anymore. So those are the mineral specimens that we have to show you. Tune in next week. We're going to have great things. As always, put stuff in the chat. JTV_Tom Joyce on Instagram and Facebook. You can reach out to Rob. We all know where to get found. Find us on TikTok. Let us know what you want to see on these shows. We'll try and get it out here for you. And go buy those specimens, because they're not going to last too long, and I want to get more in here. Have a good one.